You may or may not have heard of SAMR before. I mean, obviously the acronym is on the screen. I almost did the thing where I read the screen to you on a video. Like, what's the point of that? This model down here, I think, is the best. The best one that I found. My favorite by far. If you just search SAMR and go to images, it's this I should have found beforehand because I'm not gonna be able to find it. It's got like turns like a Honda Civic into a DeLorean, and so the T for the transformation is the car can time travel. All right, well I can't find it. We'll see if I can find it some other time. That's real disappointing. It's just a framework of thinking of technology integration and its impact on learning and the lesson. So this graphic gives you a really good idea because just with no tech, you're like, oh, I wonder what's in the ocean, right? You're not doing any like you're not exploring in that world. Substitution, you're on top of it, and by redefinition, like you've moved from like this modification where like you're breathing underwater as opposed to just a snorkel where you have an underwater craft, right? The way we like to describe that to people is with redefinition, you are doing something that was not possible before the use of technology. And so a way to think about this is we used to handwrite papers, right? I was an English teacher, and so I would have my students handwrite their essays. Substitution might be that they're typing it instead. There's no functional improvement. It's a direct substitution of the task before. We were writing and now we're typing. Like, okay, there's no impact on learning in that case. There is a place for substitution, absolutely. Like flashcards, digital flashcards, like those. That's a good use of tech for substitution. There's nothing wrong with that. This is not a rubric. That's really important to remember. Augmentation might be that I am having my students type a paper, but now they can use spell check. Or before, they had to like go to a dictionary. They didn't know if words were spelled wrong. But now they've got this built-in tool that augments the lesson. It's got that functional improvement piece to it. Modification is, I like to tell people, it's if we're in Google Docs, you just use the share button. You give that to someone else. You maybe put it on the web. With Microsoft Word, you could be posting that to, or with Canvas, you could be posting that to like your paper segments to a discussion. You could be turning it in so other students can see it and give you feedback, not just the teacher, but other students, right? So again, significant redesign using technology. Your paper, more people can have access to it. Use commenting and feedback features to give you more real-time feedback and data. And redefinition is you're not writing a paper at all. You might be creating a YouTube video. You might be creating a podcast. You redesigned the lesson, right? So you've taken this, we're handwriting an essay through the use of technology. We have transformed the lesson to have a larger impact on learning and be a more comprehensive experience. Again, I call it the SAMR ladder. I'm not the only one that calls it that, but that's the way I like to think about it because you're kind of working up this degree of difficulty or comprehensive education. It is not a rubric. There's nothing wrong with substitution. There's just a time and place for all of those things. Some tasks are better suited for substitution and are not worth your time to try to redefine and hit that redefinition piece. It is very hard, and this is just meant to be a framework of thinking about a lesson, right? So if you're going to be using technology in your classroom, where does it fall in the SAMR ladder? Is this substitution? Then then the tech shouldn't get in the way and it's not really worth investing your time into it. Is this modification, redefinition? Then it's really worth your time spending some more time on that because that's going to be a very rich task for your students. So your prompt down here below is to do what I just did, but you can't use writing a paper. How could you take an activity in your classroom and move it up the SAMR ladder? What might that look like moving through those different progressions? So do some thinking around that and then post that discussion response and see what other people are saying.